Yo, what up? It's your boy V Chris Beach, GTS Movement. Today's topic, we are getting into some Twitter marketing today. But before we even get started, I want everybody to introduce themselves and let's get it.
What up, guys? Travis with T Customs Productions. Happy to be here.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy KC. You know, it's always another good day to be here.
What's good? It's your boy Chrisio from Mutual Sounds. Happy to be here as always.
What's up, man? It's your boy Skinny Double Y, DTMHipHop.com. Good to be here with y'all today, man.
Shout out to Skinny. We got a brand new member on the panel. So salute to Skinny for stepping up and joining the inner circle. You know what I mean? Joining the GTS Leadership Council.
Swag cut.
That's what's up. Glad to have you on the team too, bro.
Good to be here. Thanks, man.
So today we're going to talk about Twitter marketing. We have put this off for a while because we all do Twitter marketing, and we finally kind of got a system where we're all doing it and having some success and getting it popped off. So I guess the first thing we want to start talking about when we talk about Twitter marketing is when you first start your Twitter page, you want to define your target audience. You want to figure out who it is your Twitter is speaking to. And the reason why is because I've had plenty of Twitter pages where I've messed this up. You know what I mean? I just went on and just started following people and really didn't have any aim. And then when it came time to me marketing my production, it was random. It just was random people, and they weren't engaged, and it hurt my business because you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So over the years, I've kind of gotten it down. But you guys want to speak on your experiences with your targeting?
Yeah, let me add something real quick to what you're saying. You're talking about getting a target audience, and so this kind of fits in with that. Is when you identify your target audience, making sure that this is like one of the basics of getting your profile set up. When you first get your Twitter account, get into your description of who you are and what you're about, and make sure that it is synonymous with your brand and who you are, and that people know if they go to your profile, they click on and see your bio, they know you're a producer, they know you, you're an entrepreneur, you have a website where people can license instrumentals, that people can get a little, if you have maybe some placements. I know a lot of producers use that as a place to kind of advertise any kind of production credits that they might have or anything like that. So you have a finite area, but make sure that you take advantage of that and that people can know just clicking on it right away, they can get an idea of who you are and what you're about. And make sure that you've got a link either to your primary website or to your opt-in page or whatever primary link. Make sure that that's hyperlink. I've seen too many people, I've gone to the profile. First off, they don't have a good description, and number two, they have like broken links to old stuff that old tracks they've posted that are no longer, 404s and stuff. And I'm just like, you got to clean that up. Make sure that that's right, because if you're targeting a certain audience and they're interested in what you're doing, they want to go to your profile and see more about you. And if your stuff is all abstract and weird and they don't get a sense of who you are right away, and they try to click on your links and it goes to some broken site or something, you might lose a potential relationship or customer right from the jump. So getting the fundamentals in place and really it's really just a professional thing, right? Just getting the administrative stuff out of the way to be synonymous with your brand and come across professional from the jump.
And make it interesting. Like a lot of people's shit is boring.
It's like we were talking about trying to sell a beat before like they even click on it. That's what it is to a bio on Twitter. So like when you're searching for mixtapes to listen to or whatever, you're basing it off the cover. Well, your bio is your cover. I don't even follow people that don't have an interesting bio. So definitely make sure that's set in the stone and it's nice.
Another thing that I see is a lot of people put the links, like let's say they're selling their iTunes or they're selling their beats, and they put specific links in their bio. When I see that, I pretty much just breeze past it. I don't know about you guys, but if I read their bio and it's interesting and something that might be something that I feel I should take my time on, then I'll go click on their link. But putting all the links and stuff in the bio, that's kind of like, trying to sell you something before you even know who you are. So
right. I mean, I think it works. Like I said, if you have interesting there, you want to have at least one place that people can link. Now, having, I'm not really, I'm kind of against like what you're saying is having like a sales link in your bio. But like if somebody wants to learn more, you know what I mean? You want to have something that people can invest. Like maybe you even link to your bio page on your site because you're limited on Twitter. So maybe you could do a little excerpt from that and then have like learn more or something. I just have a link to my primary site. It's not that I'm pushing something on them to buy something on iTunes, but it's if somebody wants to find out more, that's the hub that people can go and find out more about what's going on. They can see what I offer. So I think you're right. I think it's a matter of being strategic about it and not coming across like a salesman, like you're trying to push something on them, because like you said, people get turned off from that. But at the same time, there's a place for a link, so you want to have something linked there that people can engage with. And so that's just kind of going to depend on your brand and what you're about and what your like I said, my primary website is what I put up there. It's just a central place. It's a one-stop shop for everything. I'm not selling them beats. I'm not selling them sound kits. But that's like my central hub. So I think you're right. You got to be careful with that. That you're not coming across pushing
there
something.
There is that place for that link. Sorry to cut you off, but like there is a place for the link. You don't have to try and sell people on something in your bio. Right. You have to find out. You got the link. You want to push them somewhere else.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I mean. Like not necessarily in your bio, but make sure that where it has the place for the hyperlink that you've got something that people can click on. Because that, you don't want to have that comes across being professional. You want to have everything set up right. But I get what you're saying. In the bio, if you're putting a bunch of hyperlinks, it looks very spammy. So yeah, definitely stay away from that within your bio itself. I was kind of treating those like the same because it's kind of the same thing. The hyperlink and the bio are kind of there together. But where the place for the hyperlink, make sure that you've got something filled in that's not a broken link.
And the thing with being interesting in your bio is, like, I put a link to my regular blog, just my blog site. It's just a bunch of stuff on there. The more interesting you are in your bio, the more people will click on that link. I mean, and that's what it is. If you say some just crazy random shit in there, people are like, what the hell is he about? And they see that link, they'll click to see what you're about because it's just random and it's funny. If it's funny, be funny. You know what I'm saying? Be sociable, but be funny with your bio.
And then you were saying too about like your credits and stuff. Like in my Twitter, I have the credits of the artists I work with, and some people that I'm trying to talk to or find more information on, they'll directly hit me up and say, hey, I saw that you had in your credits this person. Link me to the track. I linked them to the track. I did that with that person right there, and boom, I verified who I am and the fact that I'm actually this person.
And don't lie about the tracks that you produce. Because I see it a lot, like, you know what I mean? Like, people will just be like, oh, yeah, I did it. It'll be like, fucking Jay-Z. It'll be like every top name rapper you can possibly think of. And then you're like, okay, well, where's these tracks at? And then it's like, I don't have it.
And another thing that had me cracking up, don't put CEO. Don't. I was on Twitter the other day trying to do some more new marketing stuff, and Brian, you are lying. There is CEO for everybody.
That's another thing. I mean, just touching on your point, Chaz. A lot of people don't think about who they're actually trying to attract. So they'll put that they're doing this, they're doing that. They're an actor, they're a singer, a rapper, a producer, every single thing. And it's like, who are you trying to attract? Like, when people go on your profile, do you want to have everyone, or are there specific people that you actually want to hit you up on your page? So just think about trying not to confuse people by having tons of different titles on your bio.
And again, with being interesting, if everyone's already a CEO, then you're not standing out. So make it interesting. Make it something that's going to stick in people's minds.
Exactly. All right. When it comes to your Twitter, you want to determine your goals and your objectives with your Twitter account, like when you first get started. Like, what are you trying to do with your Twitter account? Like, for me, it's getting people back to my blog. You know what I mean? For you, it may be getting people to your website or whatever. But you need to have these goals defined before you start, so you know, okay, this is my objective. My objective is to get people to do something. When you do that, your tweets become more targeted to those types of people, and you attract those types of people to your account.
Mm.
And to add to that, a reason why you want to know that right away and do that right away is because a big percentage, 60% of Twitter users fall off of Twitter after a month. So if they're only on that short of a time period, pardon me, and you don't have a way of getting them to where you want them to go, then they're not going to get there. And that's the whole point of you being on Twitter, is to have an objective and accomplishing that objective.
I mean, it starts with being social, because it's social media. You got to be personable. You got to be engaging. But if you're running a business, if your ultimate goal is to build relationships, to sell a product, to sell beats, to sell your mixing and mastering services or your kits, you got to come across human, like we've talked about in a bunch of our webinars on building rapport and being personal and being real with people. But at the same time, you got to be focused on what your ultimate outcome is with your brand and your company. Who you're targeting and how you're going to communicate with them effectively to build rapport and also get them in your email list. Also, potentially take them to a customer, or again, whatever your objectives. I mean, ultimately get them in your email stream, and then you can communicate further with them over there, as well as on Twitter, as well as on Facebook. Maybe you do a cross promotion tweet where you're trying to pull them over to your Facebook page. You run a contest, you promote to your Twitter followers, and now you've got two outlets to communicate with them. So if they miss your tweet, now you can follow with them on Facebook or in your email list. So having that clear outcome, it makes all the difference.
Like some of the things you may want to determine, like as far as goals and objectives, is obviously getting people to your blog. If you're trying to enhance customer service with your buyers or people who actually buy your beats. If you want to increase sales, you can run special Twitter things like ads on Twitter, special bonuses for people who follow you on Twitter, stuff like that. You just want to keep people engaged in what you're doing. And I guess we all pretty much use the 80-20 rule. You know what I mean? Like the 80-20 rule is basically 80% content, 20% links to you selling something. So if you put out 10 tweets a day, 8 of them should be something helping somebody, and 2 tweets should be come buy something. And if you kind of follow that rule, people will be more engaged because you're not constantly banging them out with fucking links every day, every 20 minutes trying to sell something.
Yeah, and just adding variety, asking questions. I mean, you notice a lot of people that get retweets and replies back or favorites are asking questions, everyday questions, just things to actually engage with people. Because again, if you're just posting your links all the time, just put yourself in the position of who you're trying to market to, basically, and put yourself in their shoes. Other things you can do in terms of targeting as well, using the search feature, also looking for people in your local area as well, because then when they check in your bio, they'll see that you're both from the same location. You've got some common ground there, something to maybe use as an icebreaker, for example, if you're hitting them up on a message, that kind of thing as well should help you out.
Yeah, I think one thing that a few people overlook is you can once you define, you were talking about basically defining who you're talking to on Twitter and who you're trying to reach, and once you figure out what you're trying to define, something you can do is find those same people in your niche if you haven't already, and see what they're putting out and see how effective what they're doing is, and kind of, and use that to your advantage, and possibly even go, hit some of the people up that may retweet or favorite their stuff, because if they're doing that and you're in the same niche and you're putting out just as good, if not better, content, then they're going to do the same thing for you. Those are the people that you want to kind of seek out on Twitter.
And for me, it's follow. You want since we're selling beats and all marketing is pretty much the same. Follow somebody who's big. Follow a bigger company like Coca-Cola and kind of see how they tweet. What do they talk about to keep people engaged? And just kind of model yourself after a bigger company that that you can see, okay, this is what a $1 billion business is doing, because those companies do research and development on how to do these things. You know what I mean? We just tweet randomly, but they actually hire people to figure out, okay, what is working, what is not working, and if you follow them, let them do the work for you, and you just kind of model what they're doing. You guys, anybody got anything specific that they want to talk about so we can get a little more in depth?
Let me just add something real quick. It's something that I think will help you as a little tool that some of us use. It's a free download, but there's an app that you can install. It's called TweetDeck. It's free, and it's really cool to help manage your Twitter account. And you can set up custom columns. You can actually set up certain keyword searches. If you're trying to search for certain keywords for your niche, you can see every time that keyword is used, or you can search for certain hashtags. You can manage all of your mentions, all the notifications, times people are retweeting. You can see all that in one application. And especially if you're running your Twitter from your desktop, it's nice. Like I have a secondary monitor, and I just run this TweetDeck when I'm not utilizing this monitor for something else. I'll just have TweetDeck running in the background, and then at any given time I can just flip up there and check it and see if there's anything I need to communicate with or anything I need to do on my Twitter account. I can see everything in one shot versus having to, dealing on your phone is one thing, but I can see everything across my screen in one setting and just kind of briefly go across and figure out if I need to reply to any DMs or anything like that all at once.
Yep. It makes it so much easier to manage. You're right. I use it every single day, if not 10 times a day, really, because when you go on Twitter, when you go on the regular Twitter.com, all you're going to see is, 2,000, let's say however many people you're following, 2,000 people posting, and it's going to be all kinds of spam and all kinds of stuff that's not even really, relevant to you necessarily. Like you were saying on that TweetDeck, you can manage what type of users you're seeing tweets from, and like you said, the keyword targets and stuff like that. And one thing I do is, one thing I focus on as well is building my influence on Twitter. And what I mean by that is getting followed by verified users or reaching out to them, or even not just that, but as far as the content as well too. See like you said, do the keyword research and see what's popping for those words and see what the best type of content being put out, so what to put out as well. And then, like I said, for the verified users, if you got people that are verified that are following you, that's another thing that people look at. As far as like if you're interacting with quote unquote real verified people on Twitter, that I guess gives you more of an influence on that site. So
I think that I love about TweetDeck is because I'm sorry, I hate Twitter. I'm not here to sit there and tweet all the time. So what I love TweetDeck for is I can schedule my tweets, and I can schedule my block tweet section, which is awesome because I can wake up 4:30, whenever I wake up in the morning, go on there quick, set up my tweets for the day, and I can forget about it until someone replies to one of my tweets, and then I can hit them back right away. So it's super awesome for that, and it's free. You can't go wrong.
Right. Right. And you say you hate Twitter. I think a lot of us, why we may not like Twitter and why it's been so long since we actually did a webinar on Twitter, because you are limited on Twitter, right? You can only do so much in 140 characters. You can only do so much on the Twitter platform. If you ask any marketers online, what are they going to say is the #1 platform to market in social media? What's it going to be? Facebook. Of course, there's so much more you can do on Facebook than you can on any other social media platform. But there are a lot of folks on Twitter, and there's a lot of people you want to be reaching, and that's, why I feel like it's tough sometimes, especially when you're managing your Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus, and you're managing all these accounts, and so you get focused on one. Facebook is super effective, so you put a lot of your focus and energy in it, and then some of your other social media accounts kind of go by the wayside, your Instagram maybe. But that's why this webinar is coming now. It's to give you a little boost to remind you, hey, Twitter is still relevant. It's not going anywhere. There are still people out there you need to reach, and hopefully these tips can kind of help you to get better engagement and build your following there.
Equally as we as marketers hate it, there's the same amount of people that love it that aren't marketers that are on there, and we're not going to limit our reach because of it, basically.
I mean, and our fan base or our business is on Twitter. Like, there are so many artists that are on Twitter that don't use Facebook. And if you want to get your beats in front of those people, you got to go where the people are.
Hey, I want to interject real quick. Now, I'm big on being able to get in contact with people via email. If I want to make a serious inquiry to an artist or a producer, having a contact to go to and email them formally or communicate with them some other way. But some artists, even more well-known artists than you would think, don't even have a primary site for you to contact them. So I know Brian, you have too. You've dealt with artists just on Twitter, built relationships through DM, and gotten connections and made sales just through Twitter. So, and I'm talking like artists that you wouldn't even think that are at the level that they are, that don't have a website, don't even have. They might have an email you can contact them, but it's not something that's readily available. So you're dealing with certain social media accounts. Some of them don't have like Facebook fan pages. They're primarily running their business from Twitter. I know because I've dealt with them directly. So, I mean, Brian, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
I know for me, most of my like my bigger name artists that I've worked with have all come from Twitter. I message them on Twitter, and they respond back, and it's always a simple thing. Like for me personally, I hit people up ridiculously late at night. Like you see a rapper who's out and he says like, "Yo, I just left the club," and it's 3:30 in the morning. Hit him right then. Be like, "Yo, I'm in the studio right now. I got some joints. You might. I want to send you some beats." You'd be surprised how many people will respond to that tweet at 4 a.m. and be like, "Oh, word, I'll DM you my email," and they'll give you the email. I've done it with Slim Thug. I've done it with the Clips. I've done it with Sam. I've done it with so many artists at 4:30 in the morning, because why not? Nobody's up, and it's just like it's one of those things. But that doesn't happen on Facebook because they're not on Facebook.
No.
It doesn't happen on Instagram because all they're doing is posting themselves stunting on Instagram. Like, and the conversation, because Twitter, the conversation is live. It's right then and there. You know what I mean? And as soon as you send a message, they send a message back. You send those beats out. Did you get confirmation? Did you get the beats? Yep, they're in my email. That's all. It literally takes is that simple.
Yep.
And once you got their email, you can follow up with them from that point on.
Yeah, but I want to touch on something while you were speaking about the excuse me, messaging. This the auto DM thing, like the auto DM back when you follow somebody or they follow you back. We were talking about that earlier. Like I help build my following by like I said, finding people in my niche and following them. But the one thing I get a million DMs back, like, here, check out my music, here's this, and it always says something like Twit Validator or something like that at the bottom. When people see that, they know it's spam, they know it's fake, they know it's not a real message from you, and they're just going to delete it, because that's exactly what I do. And one thing that I noticed that they did, I don't know how recent, maybe you guys know how recent they did this, but they stopped allowing links in the DM that weren't like verified links. I think that hinders in a way, but in a way it helps you in the long run, because instead of just spamming people with links, it forces you to build that relationship and send messages back and forth and build that relationship. And that's really what the key is with the social media, is building that relationship with those artists and those people.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and add to what you're saying right now about the auto messaging back, because I actually was talking to the guys about an experience that I had, and I wanted to share it with you. So basically, I had I'm actually using another automated manager to manage some of my tweets, another piece of software that at one time I had it enabled where when someone would follow me within an hour or so, I would respond back with an automated message. Now, since I've learned, I'm better at marketing now. I'm better at these things. So we go through these periods where we're not perfect. You know, we're going to make mistakes, and we learn from them. I learned in a particular instance, I actually had forgotten that I had this set up and configured this way, but I had a customer of mine that had already bought from me in the past, followed me on Twitter. Now, as soon as he followed me, shortly after, my software sent him a message. It wasn't sending him a link. It just said, "Hey, just to reach out." But I wasn't following him back, and he could not respond via DM to me. He was turned off immediately. Made a point to go to my site and send me a message to let me know he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. Now, mind you, this is a customer. So this is potentially somebody who I've made money from in the past and maybe totally turned off to what I'm doing in the future just because of that one incident. As you guys know, if those folks who you've sold to before, it's a lot easier to keep those long-term customers. So those are the really people you want to cater to. And if you're turning those people off, you might be shooting yourself in the foot. So that's something I've learned from my experience. I don't do automated messaging. If you do, you got to be very careful with it. I'll just say that, and you make sure that you're following people. I'm not going to condone automated messaging, but if you do it and you say I'm going to do it no matter what, make sure that you're following those people back so they can actually respond back to you via DM.
Definitely. I know somebody mentioned block tweeting. Like, I don't know who said something about block tweeting earlier. I'm big on block tweeting. I know Chaz, you talked about having certain times, special times to tweet that are more effective. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been doing a little research, and it could really vary on whatever your audience is and who you're following. You'll know when you get the most engagement. But the basic times it's really bad. I'm not gonna say don't tweet in the morning, but no one's up in the morning on Twitter like that. Maybe a few business people here to check something, but morning time on Twitter is 11 to 3. Like, that's a really good high active time to tweet on Twitter. It's when everybody's on their lunch break. That's when people are passing through doing whatever they're doing. And then another good time is late at night. People follow back an insane amount at night and tweet and reply back between 9 and 11.
That's definitely true. Because I'm on the West Coast, so everything's behind for me. Everybody else that's basically, going to be interested in what I'm doing, they're already 3 hours behind me, most of them. So it's like I'll sometimes be on there till 11 or 12, and then I'm still getting replies back because those are still up. But if I go, and try and do it in the morning, those people are already at work, they're already doing their job, they're already doing whatever they're doing for their day, and they have no time to pay attention to what I'm putting out.
Exactly.
Yep.
Were those times were those Eastern times that you were
They were Eastern times.
Okay, because that's one of the things that I'd seen in some past information that I had came across as far as times that you should post on certain social media platforms. It was showing optimized times for Facebook, for Twitter. Now, it does depend slightly on your audience, but these are just like general terms on certain demographics. But I felt like at the time, at least the information I was looking at was based around Eastern time, and they said that there's more engagement from the eastern part of the states, and I don't know if that's a fact, if you got that in any of the information you were looking at, but I think that's why it was based on Eastern time. You said 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is one period, right? And so that's based on Eastern. So that will cover up till noon Western, on the West Coast, right?
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And another thing too is Sundays. For some reason, when I follow a lot of people or I go and do my work on there on Sundays, I get a lot of follow backs on Sundays more than any other day of the week. For some reason.
My Sundays between 6 and 10 at night are crazy.
Yep, that's when people usually are managing their accounts, scheduling their tweets, doing whatever they're doing. And yeah, I've seen that too. That's the best day to follow people, but it's the worst day to tweet. They say no one is tweeting, no one's retweeting, no one's favoriting. They're following that day. So.
And then for Chris, if he's targeting American audience, he's got to kind of tailor to those times too, because he's like a 5 or 6 hour difference from East Coast time. So then he's got to kind of fit, like, psychologically, who is his following, is it UK based followers, or is it primarily in the States? And then he probably has to do a lot of scheduling, because maybe times when he needs to be tweeting, and he knows because he's done it, scheduling, making sure that he has everything set up for schedules. So he's
I've
actually.
I've got tweets coming out while I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Because I'm like 6 hours ahead. So no, definitely, and that's why it's so important to know who your target market is, because the majority of my following is from the US. So I've got to post at. For the UK, it'll be such ridiculous times, but I know who's actually gonna check out my tweets and follow me more. So I've got to get most of my work done catering to those times. Yeah, you're right.
And then really, I mean, really what it comes down to is putting out the content and then being able to track it, like with anything else, with any business really that you're running, you know what I'm saying, is tracking how effective that is. And one thing that I've been using that really works for me, besides the TweetDeck, that's a great app for organizing and managing as far as people go and tweets and stuff like that. But as far as your, you know what I'm saying, your account analytics and how many people are following you, what times a day, what are the best times, there's actually you can do your research. There's a lot of web-based apps that you can use. They usually do charge a monthly fee. I think I pay $10 or $12 a month for it. But basically, it tells me any information I need from all the way down from, you know what I'm saying, it can automatically post what times of day are best that my followers are on. It'll show me the analytics, how influential I am, and then it shows you your graph curves and stuff. Like, okay, I'll see when I do this on Twitter. My following will go up till here, and then it'll kind of fall off at this time. So then you kind of know what times to do it.
Yep.
Exactly.
And now that you know good times and how to figure out good times, what me and Brian do is called block tweeting, and it's sending a bunch of tweets, usually 5 to 6 tweets at a time within a 5-minute period in those high engaging times. So again, 80-20 rule. You want to be doing content, sell. So that's how we do it. I'm doing. There's passive ways to do it. You can do more promo or selling things through a passive way, like say you create a blog post and help somebody, but you have your opt-in list on the right for people to sign up in that blog post. That's a little bit more passive as far as the promotion. You'll be able to see a little bit more promos in that tweeting block, but that's the basis of it. Of block tweeting, you send about 5 or 6 tweets within 5 minutes, between 30 and 60 seconds of each other. And what you want to do with that promo, that tweet that you're actually trying to sell on, make sure you put it last, so it's the first thing that people see, and then you'll be in their newsfeed more because you're tweeting together. Because they might not catch you with 1 tweet, they might not even catch you with 2 tweets, but if they see 5 or 6 of them there, they'll probably see your tweets a little bit more and be like, "Yo, what's up?"
Right, but you definitely want to identify those peak times because you don't want to be posting that frequently all day long because then you're just going to
Piss people
come across spammy. So that's why it's crucial to identify. If you want to do block tweeting, identify the peak times that you're going to get the maximum engagement and just pick those times to do those really frequent tweets like that.
You guys getting like a lot of feedback or something?
Are you getting feedback from me?
I'm hearing feedback. It's like, I don't know, it's air. Whatever. But yeah, as far as for block tweeting, like Chad said, I tend to do it just like he said with the 5 at once, and then I know one of my right before I log off is usually around 11 o'clock at night. That last hour from 10 to 11, I'll send out a tweet every 10 minutes, and it's going to be the first 4 or 5 are going to be just content, or just something funny, and then there's going to be a link for that last little hour. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, that the gap in between those 10 minutes, I'm getting crazy engagement from those tweets. Another thing, if you're sending some tweets out, you want to kind of make to get engagement. Think of it like a National Enquirer. You're walking through the grocery store and you see a crazy headline. That's what your tweets need to look like if you want people to notice them. You know what I mean? Make it interesting, just something that's kind of off the wall that has to do with your niche, obviously, but you want it to engage people. And don't just talk about beats all day long.
Don't just talk about music all day. For that sense, people, it's like a live chat room of your life. So I mean, you gotta be engaging, you gotta be funny, because you could have potential fans. You don't want to limit yourself either. You want to target your audience, but look at Superstar for one. He's got a clothing brand now. There's people who just follow him because he has a clothing brand. So he's promoting that. You don't want to limit your people, so don't always be tweeting about just music stuff because they might not follow you for that reason. So give them some funny content that they can follow too, some fun, some interesting stuff. Give it a good headline, and you'll build a following that way also.
Yeah.
You got to be native,
Native.
You got to be native to whatever you're posting. You can't be salesy. it's just the way it is. You'll see the drop in engagement when you start posting stuff that people enjoy. You'll know based on the retweets. You'll know based on the favorites. You'll know based on the replies you're getting back. If you're not, then you need to change something. I wanted to go. You're talking about things that when you're making tweets. I have some questions to help you better your Twitter content. I just want to run through these questions to ask yourself when you're making a post. Now, this is actually an excerpt from one of the resources that we use within the team. This is like as far as posting native ads on social media and getting the maximum engagement. This is actually an excerpt from that. But basically, questions to ask yourself about your Twitter content. Number one, is it to the point? You got 140 characters, right? Very limiting. Make it to the point. Number two, is the hashtag unique and memorable? Now, we haven't actually talked about hashtags. We can probably talk about that here in a minute, but we can dig into that. But that's number two, is the hashtag unique and memorable? Number three, is the image attached high quality? Now, that's another thing we want to talk about is, attaching images and how that can improve engagement too. And then the last one is, does the voice sound authentic? Will it resonate with the Twitter audience? So this is just kind of a checklist of things to go through when you're making that post. You've got 140 characters to make an impression, to resonate with somebody, to make them laugh, to make them cry, to get them intrigued about the information you're providing, whatever. And mix it up and kind of gauge it, again, based on the feedback that you're getting. The feedback is who's favoriting, who's retweeting, who's following you because of content you posted. Right?
Exactly.
Use all that as it's feedback loop. That's what marketing is. It's all a feedback loop. You try something and then you don't just keep doing it just because that's what you think. You course correct. You change. If it's not working, then you make slight changes. You do split testing. You try a tweet with an image, try a tweet without an image. You try a tweet with a hashtag, with this hashtag. You try it with this hashtag and see the comparisons. Maybe this tweet performed better because it was at a peak time. So then you need to get into what are your peak times to tweet? So there's a lot of little things to keep into account, but I feel like if you follow the basics and you don't get in there and just spam, we didn't even talk about that. We talk about that, I think, in like every webinar that we do. Because why do we talk about it? Because we see it. We see it every day. We get spammed. It's so annoying, and it's killing people's brands. Like it really is. Like getting on. When Brown's talking about messaging artists and things like that, it's like I feel like saying that. I'm almost reluctant, even though it's effective, I'm almost very reluctant to just tell people stuff like that up front because they just get these preconceptions in their head about how they're supposed to communicate with people. And it's usually just mentioning with a link and like, hey, check out my beats. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, you got to know now in almost 2015 that you're not getting any responses like that. And you're getting your account probably on lockdown and shit. But I don't want to get into all that. We know not to spam, but I think if you just follow the basics, man, you got to know human nature. But these checkpoints, I don't know if you guys have anything on hashtags or images or anything specific you want to add in those areas.
Don't use too many hashtags. I just want to
I try to keep it under 5 for the most
Especially
part.
if you've got a link in the post as well.
Yeah.
Well, one caveat, it's like, so you're limited. You got again, you're 140 characters. So if you post a bunch of hashtags, that's going to take up real estate in your post, in your tweet. So you're kind of limited almost if you're going to put any body of a text. I mean, if you just put a link and a bunch of hashtags, I mean, that's spammy as hell. People don't care about that. So, I mean, typically what I've read and what I've researched is keep it to just a minimum of hashtags, like Chaz said and Skinny, and find prevalent and relevant hashtags. You can also piggyback on mainstream events that are going on in your niche. You can find hashtags that are relevant, and if you have a comment or you have something that's related, hashtag it. If you say there's something in the music industry going on, and maybe you've linked it on your blog, look at what's trending topics and use those in your tweets. Now, it might not be tremendous results that you get from it, but it is going to help your reach to an extent. So keeping your hashtags to a minimum and using prevalent and interesting hashtags too.
Like for instance, like I do trap beats, right? Everybody knows that I do trap beats, and I don't do, like any old school type of hip hop. I'm capable of that, but So instead of just posting like hip hop or music or, you know what I'm saying, make those tags specific to your genre. Like I said before, with really anything though. Like really, it's about doing the research and figuring out what hashtags, like you said, split test. Try a couple with one tweet, see if it works. Try a couple with another tweet, see if it works, and then just find which ones work for you. And it's just really trial and error. But like I said, I do trap beats. So one thing I will put in there, you'll see me almost every time I'm doing something with actually posting a link to my beats or something like that, which I very rarely do. I would rather draw people in, talk to them personally, and say, hey, what's up? You know, DM me, message me, and then build a relationship instead of just putting out. But I still do that to put it out there, and I'll tag my genre, my niche, and make it more specific instead of just hip hop or just music. I see a lot of people just put that.
I know for me and Travis, like I will put boom bap in there because not too many people are looking for boom bap beats, and the people who are, they can't find them because there's so many. The thing is, like, depending on what type of beats you make, like there's so many trap producers right now because that is the sound that's fucking killing right now.
Right.
There's a section of artists that are looking for the shit that me and Travis do, which is boom bap shit. And if they see that hashtag, they're like, oh, we automatically cut through that.
Exactly.
The reach might not be as big,
but it's targeted.
but it's more targeted. Exactly. And so that's the trade-off. You're going for a bigger audience with more general hashtags versus something that's more targeted, smaller audience of hashtags, but you're more targeted that way.
And if there's something like if there's a term that people use in your niche, like specifically, use that as a hashtag because the people who speak like you are gonna know exactly what that hashtag means. So it's like you're gonna be extremely targeted with the people that you want to talk to your audience. You talk how your audience speaks.
Know the language that your audience is speaking.
Yeah.
You gotta know that.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not gonna message an artist like, "Good afternoon, sir." I'm gonna message them like,
"My mother."
Yeah. I'm gonna message them like I do a lot of trap music and people who talk about those type of things. So it's like I'm gonna hit them up like, "Yo, what's up, G? Da 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 da. How can I help you?" You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Talk
like the best shit about Twitter is you can jump into somebody's conversation. Like you can walk right into the middle of their conversation and add whatever it is you want to add to their conversation. And it's like,
and it's encouraged.
It's encouraged. Yes. It's accepted.
Because what happens is they're gonna come and check you out.
Exactly.
They're gonna look at your bio and see if you're interesting enough to even be checked out, which is another reason why you want an awesome bio. But you should go and engage in other people. That's how you get your reach out there too.
Like I think where the hell is one of my? Let me see if I can pull this up. My bio on one of my pages, like on my regular page. Not my production page, just my regular Twitter page. My name on my page is the ringleader, and then it's just like my bio just says I'm the destroyer. I'll destroy anything. I destroy beats. I destroy rhymes. I destroy lives. I destroy relationships. I destroy property, and that's it. And then it's just like my link is in there for my blog, and that's it. Like, it has nothing to do with anything. But if somebody's like, "What the fuck is that?" People just want to see, okay, whatever, and then I just talk hella reckless on that page.
I've seen people do that. I've seen people do that before too, where they're just, you know what I'm saying, excuse my French, but they're just an asshole on purpose, and that's what they pride themselves in, being on Twitter. And people actually follow that. I'm like, you want to be talked shit to all day? Like, that's crazy. Okay.
And I got another
page. Yeah.
My professional page is like, my V Chris Beats page where, I talk about music and helping artists and producers and shit. But like my personal page is reckless.
Different approaches.
Interesting.
Different approaches. You just want to be unique and stand out among the sea of other people in your niche.
Exactly.
The sea of CEOs.
The sea of CEOs.
If you're talking about pictures.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you my experience. I've had a lot of success with attaching images, engaging images in my tweets. So what I highly recommend it. Again, one of the checkpoints is the image high quality. So don't put like some crappy image. And then there's also like getting into the psychology of like, is the image native to Twitter platform, and I get into a little more advanced stuff. And again, we have the more detailed information for you on the inside. But basically, I can just tell you from looking at my tweet deck right now that I get a lot more engagement on tweets that I post with images. And 140 characters. So let's kind of break this down. So let's say you're posting a link, right? Say you post a link in your tweet. So if you do a shortened link, it's usually about, let's say, between 23 and 25 characters, okay? So now we're down to 115. So let's just say 115. So now we're going to add an image, which is going to be another link, basically. That's going to add in, minus another, say 25 characters. So now you're down to 90 characters, okay? So now you want to at least have a couple prevalent hashtags, right? And let's just say, for kicks and jollies, we'll just say another 25, right? So now you're down to 65 characters. Now you're down to that's only with 2 relevant hashtags, a link, and an image. You're down to 65 characters to get your message across. Now do you see why Twitter is very limiting? I mean, you probably know that by now, but you got to make if you're down to 65, now you got to make that 65 count. So how can you communicate most effectively with the remaining space and characters that you have? So, but it is worth it. It is worth it to take up those extra 25 characters for an image. You might say, well, maybe I'll just take the image out, or whatever, and do split testing. Try your tweet with an image, try it without. I guarantee you, over time, depending on what you're tweeting, but for the most part, you're going to see higher likes or favorites, retweets. You're going to get more engagement. You're going to get more people clicking on your link. If you've got a way to track how often that's being clicked, your actual hyperlink that you have, you're going to see a lot more engagement. I can guarantee you that. Because why? Because I tested it and it works.
And YouTube videos too, man.
Oh God, that's another one. That's actually, you know what? That's actually better than images. I said images, but YouTube links, the thumbnail shows in the tweet, right? So people can play the video directly from the tweet. So that's actually, let me backtrack. Videos first. I'm saying pictures because the recent tweets I've sent out are actually images. But that's the best engagement. If you can just post a link to your YouTube beat making video, your marketing video, any kind of engaging topic, or even something from the industry. But if you can actually post that link that people can play in the tweet, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. Try the split testing, and you're gonna see that extra engagement.
And then one thing I wanted to touch on while you were saying that about the YouTube link, the fact that it shows a thumbnail, is when you're putting links on Twitter, they're more likely to click on it. Like you said, if it's a YouTube link, if it's a link they trust, if it's a prefix that they know for Facebook, webs, or YouTube or something like that, they're going to be way more likely to click on that if they click on some bi.ly, link shortener or something like that. I mean, and it's great that you use those. I use those myself when I can't contain. But if you have the room after, like you said, all those hashtags and all the images and all that other relevant stuff, try and use, like you said, a YouTube link or something that's relevant that people will trust, and they're more likely to interact with that post. And
then it also gives you have more freedom once you've built more of an authority. Once people do trust you, they know your brand, they know that you're that you provide quality information and products. It goes with leverage. As you leverage your brand, you get more flexibility. Starting out, you got to stick to kind of rigid guidelines and figure out what's the most effective way to reach this brand new following. And so as you build, you have more freedom. But yeah, having links that people aren't going to click it if they don't trust it. If they trust you as a brand and you post a shortened link, it might not be as much of a problem. But I can tell you personally that the YouTube links for Twitter are dope. You get a 2 thumbs up for that, Brian. I almost skimmed over that.
Speaking of short, there's not too many of them where you can, like, I use tinyURL. It uses a little bit more space, but here's the thing. I can put whatever link I want to use in there and then put something on the back end like free trap beat contest or something like that, and you can create it specific to that. If it's not a YouTube video, create it specific to what you're talking about, so people are more likely to click on it as well. I've noticed that instead of just using like a bit.ly or something like that, they'll say, oh, it says tiny URL. Everybody knows that's a link shortener. The tinyurl.com/win free beats. They're gonna be like, okay, I can win free beats. Click.
Yeah.
Billy actually does that now, and you have analytics and stuff with Billy. I don't know about tiny URL. Yeah, you can have a custom URL with Billy too. So, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. See, I didn't even know that. That must be something new because I've been using tiny URL for a while.
Yep. But definitely use those resources because you don't want the link to take up your whole 440 characters too.
Right.
That is what's up.
Because them YouTube video links can be long sometimes.
Well, they are, but I think that Twitter, at least when I post in TweetDeck,
You get the short ones now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even when I post a long link, it just condenses it down. It only takes up like 25, 23, 25 characters. Even when I post my domain, like a blog post or something. So I think it depends on the platform that you're, maybe on certain apps it doesn't. You have to actually shorten them. But I know that like in TweetDeck, it automatically shortens my links for me. You know, even if I'm posting some long string from a blog post, it goes ahead and it still shows the first part of it, and it says ... but it's still hyperlinkable to that original page.
No.
That's what's up. Anybody got anything specific you guys want to talk about?
I feel like there's something.
I feel like we're missing something. Like I'm trying to check my notes.
Let's see. Blue and follow targeted. Like I said, we were talking about before. I guess like building relationships when you're talking to somebody on there. Maybe as a producer, and you're trying to sell beats. You know what I'm saying? Your whole approach has to. If you're not selling beats right now and you're trying to sell beats, then obviously, you know what I'm saying, your whole approach on however you're doing it right now is obviously something's got to change because it's not working. And one thing that I noticed made a huge difference in my business, like probably bigger than anything else, is the fact that how I came at people on Twitter. I came at them with something to offer them instead of asking them to check me out, asking them to do this. You have to build that relationship before you can ask people to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like if you walk up to a guy on the street and you ask him for $1, he's not just going to give you $1. He might, but he's most likely not. Now, if you knew him from somewhere, he's more likely to give you that $1 if you needed it because you built a relationship with them. And it's kind of the same thing when you take it to Twitter. So if you can offer them something or give them something, they're more likely to check out whatever you have to do. And that goes with any social platform, not just Twitter.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that.
One thing I want to add too is search.twitter.com.
Oh, yep.
Don't use that. That's where it's at. If you're trying to figure out who your target market is, you need to use that.
Good. You good, John?
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else.
I mean,
There's a lot of stuff, but as far as like what we want to cover here,
there's so many things there's so many variables in what we talk about.
Yep.
You know, I know as far as us, like in our group and on the team, we have certain modules and certain programs and certain systems that we have for Twitter marketing inside GTS movement for producers. So like what we don't cover here, this is just the kind of like the tip of the iceberg of what we actually have in our actual group, in the GTS movement group. We have plenty of modules on Twitter and training from people who know more than us as far as Twitter marketing goes.
and we're working on a lot of cool new stuff that we've recently learned for all social media platforms, for all email marketing and video marketing and the whole shebang. But that's definitely something you want to plug into if you're having problems building that engagement on any platform. Knowing your audience and knowing how to communicate with them is a big part of. We talk about it in pretty much every one of our webinars. You know, why? Because it's so damn important.
If you
social media.
Speak to the people that you're trying to the people you're trying to sell to, you're not going to be successful in any business, not just selling beats and anything, and in life in general. If you're trying to get a job and you can't speak the language of the people where you're trying to get a job at,
Yep.
you're not going to get hired. You're not going to get to where you want to get to. And so, being that we're all entrepreneurs and being that we're all music producers, we need to know how to speak to artists, and we need to learn, and how to engage those people into wanting to be around us and wanting to work with us. And it's that simple. And that's what it is. That's what it is. It's social media. You have to be social. And if you're, and I'll say this for producers, a lot of producers, we are introverted by nature. We make beats on our own. We go digging by ourselves. We spend most of our time in a room like this dungeon I'm in right now, banging beats out, and then we come up for fucking, it's like vampires, but we go outside and it's like, shit, it's bright out here. I was down here for 6 hours. So, it's one of those things. That's just how we are. So,
like, if I didn't have to take my dog out, I would be in here all day just making beats. Like, I probably, you know what I'm saying? Let's have dinner or something to go to. So, yeah.
And that's what it is. Being that we're most of, I ain't gonna say most, but a lot of us are introverted. You got to step outside yourself to be a part and learn how to speak to people. And if you don't, you're gonna have a lot of trouble online. I mean, even if you don't message people and things like that, when it comes to you creating an ad, if you don't know the language of the people you're dealing with, it's not gonna convert.
True story.
Yes, sir.
Marketing and networking, that's the two things you need. And it both is involved with communicating with your target audience. So.
And the most thing I hear producers say is like, I have hot beats, I have bangers, I have this, but it's like, okay, how are you going to separate yourself from 100,000 other people, let alone the 10 I know that already sell beats constantly almost every single day, like myself, you know what I'm saying? How are you going to separate yourself from
We all got bangers. We all got hot beats. It's very rarely that I go on a producer's page and his beats are shit. You know what I mean? Like,
There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on the
rare. It's rare that they're like, I go to someone's page and I'm like, yo, all his beats are shitty. Like, pretty much everybody has dope beats. The difference is you and how you speak to the market. There's a reason why there are certain people who are at the top of every chart on every single platform. They know who they're speaking to, and the people that they're speaking to are engaging with them. We mentioned, I swear, I think we mentioned Superstar O on every single video for a reason. Like, I'm sure we all there's certain producers that we watch and we see like, okay, this is what he's doing, and this is how he's doing it, and you take little pieces from them and you model yourself. You see, how can I take something that he's doing and make it work for me? And that's what it is. And if you're not doing that, if you're not watching what we're doing, if you're not watching what other successful producers are doing, and you're not having success, there's a reason why you're not having success, because the way that you're doing it may not be working. And obviously, if you're not selling beats, it's not working. And if what you're doing isn't working and you want to learn how to make that thing work, learn how to sell those beats, learn how to engage those customers, you need to click the link below, see exactly what we're doing, and learn the blueprint. Because success isn't something it's not luck. It's learned. This is something that you can learn. You can learn to be successful. We study every day. It's not like I woke up one morning and I finally knew how to sell beats. It took webinars, it took training, it took me masterminding with these people on this panel and learning something from Travis, learning something from Chris, learning something from Skinny, learning from Chaz, and putting all that shit together and saying, okay, Kush, what can you take from everything that they're telling you and make it work for you? And that's what it takes. I get to learn from 30 of the dopest producers I know that love marketing.
And in reality, like, I haven't even been here that long, but 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I was making the same exact beats that I'm making right now, literally same exact, same quality, putting them on the same site, SoundCloud, SoundClick, everywhere, and I was nowhere near where I am 4 months later, which is, you know what I'm saying, up to now, like, and that's because of the things and actually taking the time to do the research, staying up, you know what I'm saying, for 3 days straight, just researching, figuring out how to do stuff. Like, it's not easy, but it's also not hard at the same time.
It's work. That's the only word for it. It's work. Like Ryan Leslie says in that interview, it's just work. You got to put in the work.
Yep.
You said you didn't wake up and you know how to sell beats. No, you put in the work, and then you woke up to beat sales. That's all it is.
I mean, it's like I did that video about like babies, like how having a business is like having a child. I got 3 kids, so I know about having kids, and it's like when you first have a kid, you don't get sleep, okay? Because you're up all night trying to make this kid the best kid you could possibly be, and that's what this business is like. You don't get sleep in the beginning because you're trying to get everything. You're trying to set that foundation into your business to make your business as successful as it could possibly be. So you're not going to get sleep. But guess what? At the end of the day, it pays off because you have a successful business, and that's what you were trying to do. So when your business starts to have success, you get more sleep. Why? Because you put things in place to let this business work on its own. And you constantly tweak and you constantly work on your business, but now you don't have to work on it as hard because you built that foundation, that solid foundation from the beginning. And that's what we teach. That's what we show people how to do. And it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just there's only a certain few people who are really going to be able to put in that work. It's not for everybody. And if you're the person that you think, okay, I can do this, you need to click that link and start doing it. It's easy. You got 30 people that are willing to help you and show you what they're doing.
Can't even say
Nothing
nothing.
like that in the world, man. Nothing like that in the world.
I think
For real.
Brian said it all. I think
I was
Brian
gonna
said
say,
it all.
I can't say nothing. I don't even want. I don't know. I don't even. I think that's it.
That's it, man.
Alright.
What up, GTS?
Switch Beats, BrianLifestyle.com. I will see you guys on the next video. If you're a producer and you want to get, you want to learn how to sell beats, you want to learn how to build your business online, click the link below. Let's get it popping.
Wow, we covered a hell of a lot more than I thought we were going to, and I actually think this was really dope. Really, I mean, like I said, Brian summed it up. Brian summed it up at the end. It's a matter of following a blueprint. It's a matter of getting things in place to work for you and make your life a lot easier and build longevity, man. It's not about making a couple of beat sales here. It's about sustaining a business long term, and that's what this is all about. It's not about making a couple of beat sales. It's about building businesses. It's about building long-term sustainable businesses. So if that sounds like you're ready to get started, click the link below. Let's get you plugged into the blueprint, and let's get it.
All right. They keep doing it so good, I can't even say no more. It's your boy KC.
Oh man.
Are you done, Chaz?
Yeah, I'm done. I can't.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say much. Just like it says in my name, success leaves clues. So just come and grab those clues. Click on the link below. Get your clues.
Yeah, man. I guess my turn. I was the last one here, or the last one here. So, it's your boy Skiing Double Y, man. I'm a pure. I don't know if this is a great thing to say, but I'm a pure product of the product now. It's working for me. That's
Bro,
all. I would not be sitting here right now if it wasn't. I would not be sitting here right now if it wasn't.
I can contest to that too. I think we all can. We all can. So.
I mean, the results thread speaks for itself. I said this before. You know what I mean? You guys have been blowing that shit up, and I'm just excited that you guys are able to take it and fucking run with it and make this shit happen. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have been seeing tremendous results, and it makes me happy to see that.
I know when this first came together with me, Chris and Travis, like, we had an idea. I mean, we knew it could work, but it's one thing to know that, like, okay, you have these strategies and we all have these we all come from different backgrounds as far as all of us, and to be able to put those things together and say, okay, look, we got 6 videos we're going to put together for people to get them started. And it grew from those 6 videos and 3 people to 30 people. And it's one thing for us to learn something from each other, and you know we're always pulling stuff in. But when Chaz shoots a video, or when Skinny or when Bill Penn shoots a video, and I'm taking notes from the people that I'm teaching them how to do it, and then they're showing me something brand new because they come from a different perspective. That opens up everything, and to see them having success, to like from not selling beats to selling beats every day, to them getting leads every single day, to their businesses growing and watching their business grow and seeing it in front is just like, I know what we're doing is right. You know what I mean? I don't have any problem telling somebody like, you know what? I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know all my team knows exactly what they're talking about. And if you want to learn what we're doing, it's right here for you. All you got to do is say, you know what? I want what they have. I want to be better than what they're doing, and I have something that I think can help their situation also. Because we learn from everybody, like I said. It's not just me and Chaz and Chris coming up with these strategies. We learn from everybody and everything, and instead of us, we show everybody how to do it.
Yeah.
There's only a few of us out here that are actually showing producers how to make money online. Literally, there's 20 of us. If you go on YouTube, you're going to see the same 20 faces, and 5 of them are right here. You know what I mean? But 5 of the 20 online are right here in this room. You know exactly where you need to be at.
Yep.
So click that link below, get down with GTS, and learn the blueprint. It's the formula. It's the strategy. It's simple to learn.
I want to add, it's only 6 videos.
Only.
Not a lot. It's easy. It's just work.
But if you really want it, you'll find all the other ones. If you really want it,
that's another thing. Like I can tell this from before I started doing this, I would spend hours online searching how to sell beats, and I'm pretty sure everyone on this panel has gone on YouTube and typed in how to sell beats and seen countless videos online. And it's cool. You can do that, but it's so much easier to have them all in one place.
Last thing I want to say, I don't want to keep this going on too long, but what is so powerful in addition to the quick start and what we have is the masterminds, like the Q&As. It's like you're guaranteed at least once a week to be able to sit in a room and pick everybody's brain.
Yep.
Like you don't get that in a course. You don't get that in something else, and it's like you can, even if you're not asking questions, you can at least absorb what's being talked about. It's just gonna excel you in ways you never thought possible, just by being able to absorb everybody's information, everybody's perspective. If you have specific questions, you have the ability to talk to us directly and ask. So I think it's obvious. You know, I think it's obvious that at least from the products of the product that we have, you know, inside, it works. Like it fucking works. That's it. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say.
That's it.
Click that link below. Get in GTS, and we will have you. Hopefully, we'll have you on the next hangout. Have a success.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.